Okay.
Did he go to Plummer? He went to South
And
Carolina.
the Heat has what, won one?
We'll go to the beach. Which one was the match really?
The only team ever come back from 3-1 is the Cavs. When the Cavs came back against Golden State
30-31.
with LeBron.
See, I haven't had a basketball
No,
team since
I mean, not
Jordan.
really. Just trying to keep these kids busy.
I hated Jordan, but I love Jordan.
I know,
Next week.
that's what it is.
Because
You
I'm
hate it, but you
a
respect
Tyson
it.
Cleveland team, and you know he beat us with that last second shot that's always televised all the time.
It's so crazy, I think I still have those games on TV checks.
Well, like I tell people, like he changed the game so much, and it was so it didn't matter whether you were a basketball fan.
Right.
You
wanted to see it.
You didn't see it. You were kind of like the loser.
Exactly.
You didn't watch the game. What's wrong with
That's
you?
right, yeah, that's right.
And no one,
Yeah,
no one suspenders like that.
No.
And I don't
It is.
because it wasn't just on the court, the others off the court changed everything.
But it was just me, like you said, he made the change, so, and now it's just, so he's
Once we all get a service, it's all
Football is a team, more of a team. You can't really pinpoint
That was her
one
decision.
person.
right.
But you have to look at that as an investment too.
Same as
Not
this.
only could, or, it was more like a safe place for her to go. Have fun, go to the home. Yeah, understand how to work on a team. They don't. They really don't.
I'm 35. Right? Yeah, Josh is like that. Josh is like one of the biggest. What is his,
She enjoyed it for years and years, but she had just, she had to go that decision, and I had in my mind too. No, she got to go. I don't think they've ever done that. At the high school, like, they have a sideline and they have competition. And she just wasn't interested in the competition. She would sideline, but she's not, she don't want to. Yeah. She teaches when they're fighting tough, regional, Dutch sport, and all, I mean, it's gonna be hard, always, you know.
Family Baptist, they're going Ocean Isle.
Had some girls who were willing to put in
I said, because there's two that's not married.
the time.
Well, there's one that's not married, another couple that has no children. And I said, did they know? She didn't.
all I remember is, remember Baxter, he was,
Be so community.
And he's married. And
They're non-revenue.
he's from Generated, they live in Fort Mill. And then, Tyler Tucker, they call him Tucker. He was from Great Forks with Riverside High. There is a guy from England. I thought of Andy Brooks, but they're not. He's not.
it's crazy expensive.
Yeah.
It is. Cause I wanna go, oh, this is
That's what they did. If he was here, he had these, he was so good Christian. Parents were great. That was one of the best times of our lives was really getting to know other people from other places, the parents. It's good stuff.
Me, I thought you wanted to fly, what's up?
That's a long time ago.
Somebody posted something the other day, said that our class has been out for like 17 years.
Oh my gosh.
Is that right? Is that right? 2006? Plus 7, plus 2 more, 17 years. That's a long time.
Wow.
I mean, we're mid-30s now.
Gray hairs and less hair is gonna start popping out, Cody.
Wow, it's starting to get gray here. It's starting to go a little bit further
I
back.
can't believe it's been that long. I mean, I know that. I
I
know.
know, but when you hear 17,
Yeah.
17 is a childhood. I mean, that's, yeah, 17. When they said that, I said,
We started believing that's not right.
we're not.
Well, close, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. You're right.
Say the number instead of the name.
Last time.
I thought it was high.
first part of the day. Yeah.
Just a reminder that we are in open session for another 9 minutes, allowing anyone that has questions or comments concerning our 2023-2024 general fund budget an opportunity to speak. So we have 9 more minutes in open session.
That's what I'm looking at.
Maybe not. So new people are coming in. And I mean, they sat there and
You guys trying to see differences in that?
Yeah, I guess I was looking at the one in
The
April.
end numbers aren't any different. There was some errors initially that she fixed. That's the only real difference in the first or the second column, I think it is.
Okay.
But the end numbers never changed overall.
Okay.
The last Monday of this month.
I remember that now.
Remember that goes tonight?
I remember that now. I don't think we make July either.
So we just wanted y'all to see that she
It's
fixed
on our
it.
schedule, we don't do July.
And everything else is exactly what you guys approved on first reading.
We're not supposed to.
No, this one don't start till August. So
We got to drive that we go get the provisions for IDB and
I'm getting free today.
not that we don't need to.
Did that answer your question?
Hopefully we get it resolved tonight.
Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking that, well, the minutes read that we did not approve the administrative scale, so.
That was changing the scale. We'd initially we'd already had built in there, remember the 5%? Well, it was 3%, then you guys voted each other stuff.
So, the Francis, okay, I was just confused when I read that we did not approve that. For years and years and teacher at East.
Yeah, we just didn't
Yes.
changing the scale going to the
Okay.
days
I think it's too much
that we want to get to.
because it was too much. Okay. The other way. Sure. I
It
think we
was, I
need.
think, three or four bills, something like that.
See, all mics are
But
hot.
all only down to 5%.
Okay. Yeah, that name is, I just,
So they still get
either Angela or you and
Oh, she was a great teacher. She was one of those, she was just a legendary teacher.
so I'm pretty sure I had her.
Geography.
That you went.
Yep.
Well, back then it was
it's
English.
5%
Yep.
off. Some of the
So that
teachers
name just kind of stuck out.
Yeah, it does.
5%, some of it was more, some of it was less. Just depends where they were on the scale.
And the step.
Well, some people got 2 steps. Some of our scales only got 22.
Right.
So some of them got 2 steps, it's because they're only 24 now. Which they should be getting better.
They need it.
Oh yeah,
They need it.
without that, we know that.
We have to do that.
Yeah.
We have to.
And maybe next year we can switch to another scale for the ministries, then they'll be good. And it should
Have
be
you all?
good. Then we won't have nobody coming in on that.
Have you heard any comments?
Miss Hannah, Miss Hannah is fun.
No, they were.
to me.
What happened with this?
Yes, it is.
That is
Right.
It's worth it. For all the people in my district, they'll say, wow. That's one thing they want to do.
they don't care. They just don't think it's fair.
That's the only question they ask me.
He said, "Will you send all the comments of those?" I said, "I don't look at that kind of stuff." And he said, "Don't. People don't understand."
Especially people in college.
And sometimes I say,
There. And it's even, it's the county, it's the city.
yeah, right. I wonder the same thing. They look at me really odd.
I have not had anybody say
Right.
I enjoy it. Pushes me in the right direction.
Right.
But this time, it's the most I've been pushed.
And that's
It was painful. Yeah.
It'll be done. I hate it. Yeah, I was wondering if it's not so good.
you'll have that next
I'm trying to hold on shakes. I can't find it.
Right. I don't like that one, just for me.
Yeah.
Right.
They take have a piece of taste. I've tried everything and everything imaginable.
I haven't seen him in a while. I know you said you had been working with him.
Yeah, he has.
This is really just like
Get down, he's scared. That's
Right. Put them guns on. His right.
I better go to the gym now. Oh my.
And that's from, and we put a lot back in there from this last year.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
For about a year and a half.
we're not trying to increase
But like,
it.
taking it to another level for the last 6 months.
It's just, it's gotta be minor.
I just can't find time. I just need more time in the day.
I know.
I just
I just have to make myself, I have to make myself.
Let's keep flying around. I'd rather eat that cheeseburger.
I can tell you, he's not making any cheese.
Take that for free.
No.
You need sandwich wise?
The protein gain also.
Yeah, yeah.
Never figured that out, how to eat a healthy life. What is that?
No, my wife did this.
No, it depends on what you're trying to do with your body.
I mean, but how do you eat it without that? I mean, at that point, it's hamburger steak.
Hamburger steak.
Hamburger steak. I'm cutting it with a knife. It's no longer a cheeseburger. You know.
Kind of dip it in something.
Right, it's no longer a cheeseburger.
And then you
Cut
put
it
a
with a knife.
salad on top of it.
Well, you need to get out and make your hamburger. I make the best burgers.
But I mean,
The grill
it's still, a hamburger gotta have to be wrapped in a bun.
and the with a whole entire onion on it. A whole entire onion.
I like red onion.
Oh, yeah? Now, that's a strong flavor.
No, purple onions are not the purple ones.
Yes.
I remember when I was first hired, the first time, I was
Not as strong as red, not as strong as red onions, not to me.
no, White House Central.
I don't like red
I was hired Friday before school started. And then my ex-wife, she was hired Monday when school started. That was a crazy time.
No, I'm just like,
2010.
I'm a schedule person.
Like a plate today.
Let's get it on the schedule. We 50 minutes behind.
Whose fault is it?
Oh, yeah. I got 3 people here.
It was coming off of that, that's probably why you got hired next week.
I went to probably 4 or 5 different interviews, and they were like, I wish you could do it, but their hands were tied. They were bringing back. They were carried down in there. So I was just happy to get the call. I didn't care. They just gave me
We didn't have a form.
Okay.
I don't have full photos.
We're coming.
This concludes the public hearing for the general fund budget. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion, Mr. Blackwell.
Second.
Second, Mr. Wilkins. All in favor by a show of hands? That's unanimous. This portion of our meeting is adjourned. Are you together?
Not unless you want.
You don't have to. We now call to order the business portion of our session. We will stand and have devotion by Mr. Blackwell, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you, Lord, for this opportunity of being here, Lord. We thank you, Lord, for all that you've given us. And Lord, we just ask, Lord, that you give us the wisdom and knowledge on the things and matters that come before us tonight, Lord, that we might make the best decision that's in the best interest of all of our children, Lord. And for all you do, God, we thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. First item is the approval of board agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the board agenda.
Motion, Ms. Shackelford.
Second?
Second, Ms. Goldman. Any discussion? All in favor by a show of hands? That is unanimous. Next item on our agenda is the approval of board minutes beginning with May the 8th, 2023. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
I make a motion to approve the May 8th, 2023 board meeting minutes.
Motion, Ms. Goldman.
Second.
Second, Ms. Shackelford. All in favor by a show of hands? That is unanimous. Can I get a motion to approve the May 22nd, 2023 board meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve May 22nd, 2023 board meeting minutes.
Motion, Mr. Cash.
Second?
Second, Ms. Goldman. By a show of hands? That is unanimous. Next item on our agenda, honors, accomplishments, commendations. Dr. Fallon.
We do have one adjustment on this honors and accomplishments. The Gaffney High School student, I guess, was enjoying the beach, so they could not be here. So we're going to recognize them the next board meeting when we have the opportunity to get them in. So that, other than that one.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Board of Trustees, Superintendent Dr. Fall, other officers present. On behalf of our principal, Mr. Mullinax, and the athletic department at Blacksburg High School, thank you for giving us the opportunity to recognize a few of our baseball and track and field student athletes on their achievements this spring, all of whom are state qualifiers and all-state selections. I'll begin with our baseball standouts. Our pitcher, Lucas Earls. Lucas was named to the Class 2A All-State baseball team by the South Carolina Baseball Coaches Association. Lucas was also the Region 1 2A Player of the Year, finishing with 58 strikeouts and a 2.91 earned run average.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Wonderful job.
Next up is our power hitter, Cody Capps. Cody was named to the Class 2A All-State baseball team as well by the South Carolina Baseball Coaches Association. Cody's .464 batting average was one of the highest in the state, along with his 6 home runs and 26 RBIs.
Good job.
Speaking of Lucas and Cody, both those young men were also selected to participate in the South Carolina Baseball Coaches Association All-Star Game, featuring the top players in the state of South Carolina.
That's awesome.
Very nice.
Next up is our coach, Coach Josh Batchelor. Coach Batchelor just finished his 10th season, which was his final season as a baseball coach. He's now leading our football program. Coach Batchelor was our Region 1 2A Coach of the Year. In 10 years, Coach Batchelor compiled 122 wins as the head coach, 4-time Region Coach of the Year, as well as State Coach of the Year. Track and field standouts. We'll start with Addison. Oldest week, Addison was a state qualifier in the discus, finishing 8th at the state tournament. with the students at the beach. EJ and Dustin also jetted to the beach as well, so partner us on that, we'll get them on the next one. Last but not least, Grace Martin. Grace broke the school long jump record with a 13-foot-1 jump. Once again, thank you to the board of trustees and our superintendent, Dr. Fall. We'd like to congratulate all of our student athletes on the job well done.
Absolutely.
Thank you for At this time, before our honorees and their guests are dismissed, if any board member would like to offer their congratulations, please do so.
I remember some of these when they were 8th graders, 9th graders, and now they're graduates. And I've seen some of these young ones here that when they were in middle school too, so I'm very proud of them. Congratulations. 13 what? 1. Wow, look how little you are. That's amazing.
She can fly.
Awesome, congratulations.
Congratulations. Anyone else? For our honorees and their guests, you can be dismissed at this time if you like, but you're more than welcome to stay. The next item on the agenda is School Board Policy BCBI, Public Participation.
We had no one sign up for public participation.
Okay, we'll move on to the next item, Board Policy Review.
Dr. Ball, I'm sorry. That gentleman was talking to him earlier, and he didn't know he had to sign up for that. He was wanting to speak about the band stuff. Is it possible to get him to give him a minute here?
That's up to you all.
Okay, I'm asking that.
By show of hands, who all is in agreement that he can speak at this moment? Then we'll take it that way.
In reference to?
In reference to the band.
In reference to the band room, the addition.
Okay, okay.
Any issues? Okay, so that's unanimous. So we only ask that you, due to time restraints, you kind of keep it to a limit of 3 to 4 minutes. And
Only need a minute.
oh, okay. Well, yeah.
I keep it short and sweet. I just want to say thank y'all for the new band directors that we hired. I got to spend time with them. They seem very energetic. I'm glad that we got 2 of them because the band is a big program to take in. Y'all done a lot for the band. I want to thank Mr. Falls for the support he's given the band, as well as Dr. Blanton. This year has been challenging for the band with the changes that's gone on. Y'all have been nothing but great support for the band. And my hope is with the new band room, we can take it to another level. Because unfortunately, I was in the band room last year during summer camp. There was a thunderstorm and they had to come in off the field. And I was gonna go in to watch the band practice because the director had come on in. I had to step outside because couldn't fit. I mean, it was literally, each band member was playing their instruments like this because they couldn't fit into the band room. And that's only an 70 to 80 member band that we had last year. So, and when we go to these competitions, these high schools that's in the same size, they're putting out 100 to 120 band members. And, you know, there was 2 bands in their competition at Upper State this year that was 200 people plus. And that's what they're competing against. And we have room for 7 for our band room. So I just ask y'all to think about this, and hopefully we have the funds and we can make this happen for the kids to grow the program.
Great.
That's it. Thank y'all.
I'm sorry, do you mind introducing yourself for the record, please?
My name is Dusty Hayden.
And you are a parent?
I am a parent, and I'm also a member of the Band Booster Club, which I'm the president of this year.
Thank you so much. Now we will move to item 7, Board Policy Review.
No, we're past that. And we had no one sign up.
No, Board Policy Review?
Oh, those ones. Yes, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the public participation policy. The first couple ones are all second reading. The first one is policy GCQE. I'm gonna do these for, Dr. Carpenter is recovering still, so I'm gonna take these for him. The first one is the policy GCQE, retirement of professional staff, second reading. Any questions or anything on that one?
No changes from the first, right?
Right, no changes from the first. All right, no questions, I'll move to the next one. The next one is policy GDQC, retirement of support staff, second reading. And once again, no changes from the first time that we had the first reading. All right, moving to the next one, policy DGD, credit card use, second reading. No changes from the first reading. All right, next one is policy KFD, clear bag use at district events, second reading. No changes from the first reading. All right, and the next one is first reading for policy GCCAC/GDCC. This is paid parental leave that was passed by the legislation and signed off by the governor. And it's several pages you have in your packet. I just highlight some things. This isn't just for births. This is also if you adopt a child or foster care or things like that. The only thing, if anybody falls in that category of foster adoption, you do have to identify which one is the primary, because only the primary gets the 6 weeks. The other one gets 2 weeks. So that's.
If they were both in the district? Is that
Yeah,
okay.
if they're both in the district, yeah. So that's the only real difference as far as if you're having a baby, you automatically, as the birth person, you automatically get the 6 weeks, and then the other gets the 2 weeks. So just want to make sure that people are aware of that. And it talks about all the eligibility and everything else in here. It also, just so people are aware, it runs concurrent with FMLA or anything else that they're doing, so it's not in addition to, it runs concurrent with that. Those are pretty much the highlights of it. Any questions? As I said, it's multiple pages, so.
And this means they don't have to burn through their sick days, is that right?
Well, it just gives them a guaranteed 6 weeks paid, because not everybody,
Has to do
you
it.
know, those
Well,
first-year
first-year teacher,
teachers
yeah.
don't have,
Right.
you know, they haven't accrued enough yet, so it helps them tremendously. And you have a 12-month window that you can use it.
Oh, I didn't read that.
Yeah, there's a 12-month window in there that you can use it, but you have to use it. And if it, like this, Ms. Gallman decides to take off and she wants to come back a week early, you lose that week. It doesn't carry over. It's not it's
Okay, that was my
only
question.
during that week.
Okay.
And you can't do it prior to or anything and say, well, I want to take it early. You can't take it early. It's specific on some of those kind of
And
things.
it has to be consecutive. You can't do 3, come
Right,
back and do
right,
3 others.
right, yep.
Okay.
Any other
Now,
questions?
that 12-month time frame, that's from date of birth, though, is that right?
Birth, adoption, foster, whichever the scenario is, yes.
What I'm getting at is, if, I don't know, somebody has a problem, even prior to birth, I mean, can they use that? I don't know, some ladies have issues
Oh, yeah.
4 or 6 weeks before.
Yeah, they
You
get
know,
put on bed rest or whatever, right? It says in here that they have to use it, that you can't use it prior to, but I'm sure if something like that would be medical, I'd have to get clarification from legal on that, but I would imagine it would still cover, but not positive.
I didn't know.
What it allows though is if you have vacation or not vacation, sick time build up, and you wanna use that first, you have 12 months to use it. You don't have to use that right out of the gate, you can use it after the fact.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to, if if possible, give a 30-day notice. If it is something emergency, then you would just need to show medical that, you know. So I would assume that would fall in that category where you could do it prior to, but it would have to be medically, you know, we'd have to have that documentation.
Well, if it's concurrent with the FMLA, they can always use FMLA, could they not?
Well, they could, but not everybody, because you gotta be with the district for so long before you qualify for FMLA. So that's, this you qualify for day one. There is no wait period, there's no, so this covers people regardless if they qualify for FMLA or not. If they do, then yes, they have to take FMLA in concurrence with it, but if not, if they don't, you know, not everybody's in that boat, so that's a good thing. It protects them for those that don't have that neither.
It being new, I just feel like we'll have questions. You know?
Yeah, and I mean,
pre-existing conditions, anything of that nature, you know.
It explains it all on these 4 pages pretty clear. The only part would be if something medical made you go sooner or something, bed rest or something, we'd just have to get legal on that. I'm not 100% on that part. Because this is directed more at when the child is born, to give you that time. Or adopted or foster care, whatever the scenario is.
Well, I'm excited to see it come into school districts because most industries, companies have a policy like this. So for our teachers and staff members, I think it's a great leave. I know we've talked about this earlier in the year, trying to adopt one. So I'm glad the state was more proactive for us to have that opportunity to. I agree with that.
The state was supposed to put it off till the next year, but they ended up bumping it up
I'm
on
so
their
glad.
calendar.
That's
So
That's good for our parents. I think it's a great thing. I know personally know of someone in this district that had 3 children pretty quick, and by the 3rd one they didn't have any days left. So that's
speaking of how quick, that is one of the other things in here. You can only do it one time during that 12-month period.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're too quick having that second one, you may not qualify for that again. So just keep that in mind. You can only do it one time during that 12-month period. So,
which makes sense.
So we calling for approval for these?
yeah, if there's no more questions, comments, we'll have to go through one by one. And
Okay.
Can we group?
First, we would like to call for approval for policy GCQE, retirement of professional staff, second reading. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Motion, Ms. Gorman.
Second.
Second, Ms. Shackelford. All in favor? That's unanimous. We need a motion to approve policy GDQC, retirement of support staff, second reading.
I'll make a motion to approve the policy GDQC.
Motion, Ms. Gorman.
Second.
Second, Ms. Shackelford. By a show of hands. That is unanimous. Motion to approve policy DGD, credit card use.
I'll make a motion that we approve policy DGD, credit card use on second reading.
Motion, Ms. Shackelford.
Second.
Second, Ms. Gallman. All in favor? That is unanimous. Call for a motion to approve policy KFD, clear bag use at district events, second reading.
I'll make the motion to approve policy KFD.
Motion, Mr. Cash.
Second.
Second, Ms. Gallman. All in favor? That is unanimous. Call for a motion to approve policy GCCAC/GDCC, paid paternal leave. This is the first reading.
I'll make a motion that we approve policy GCCAC/GDCC for paid parental leave, first reading.
Motion, Ms. Shackelford.
Second.
Second, Ms. Gallman. All in favor? That is unanimous.
thank you.
We move on in our agenda to the 2023-24 general fund budget, second reading. Ms. Morgan.
You should have a packet with the latest updates to the general fund budget. enrollment changes based off our first reading of May the 8th was to add revenue from 13.5 millage increase. So you will see that in line 1 under local revenue, that number increased by the millage increase. Expenditures were changed when you requested that all salary scales be extended to 24 years. We've done that and stepped up all qualifying staff and recalculated that to include benefits. So right now you are looking at a balanced budget at $90,996,507. 13.5 mils was equivalent to $1,900,800. Any questions related to the second reading of the budget?
Ms. Morgan, what is the cost for the, increasing the salary scale to 24 steps? It was about $300,000, right?
It is about $300,000, that includes benefits.
Okay. And then the other highlight that I have is, all administrators would receive a 5% pay increase.
That is correct, and that was included in your first reading.
Okay.
That was roughly, about $311,000 in salaries, add benefits, noted about $490,000.
Got it. And then can you give us an overview of classified employees? They all receive $1 an hour increase, right?
$1 an hour increase
Plus
plus
their
their
step
We put $1 to every sale
for all classified,
for all classified.
okay? And then the sub pay was also increased, right?
Sub pay was also increased. It was estimated, because of the parental leave, basically the increased cost of that, because I budget that position to be paid for the entire year. The increased cost is paying for the subs for the folks that go out on leave. And so we increased the sub pay of about $480,000, and it was also included in the first one.
And parapros also received an increase, right?
Every scale received an increase.
Okay. I just want that on the record.
Yes, they did.
Well,
Thank
what
you.
was the sub increase?
The sub increase was estimated to go to $12 from 10, but that's going to be reevaluated. Dr. Fowler and I had a conversation about it because your parapros, when you put the $1 an hour on there, are now like $13.94, $13.74.
It's gonna be that first
That first
zero, you
zero.
know, that first pay scale, the 0 years, the
That's
first.
what I fixed, that still was still
For-
less, right there.
Right, it, with the TAs, it's a little bit different because of the raises we did. We got adjusted a little bit, but for everyone else, it's gonna be that first, like custodians, food service, that first
I got you.
pay scale. So it'd be a little bit different, although food service and custodian, same amount, so it'd be the same.
All right.
Their scales started.
So it is going up to the scale, because it was less with what you're talking.
Right, yeah, it was a lot less. It was
Right.
minimum wage. It was bad, so, yeah, it's huge improvement.
I think they'll be happy.
Yeah, I do too.
And all teachers, I know that's mandated by the state, but they receive $2,500,
500 plus a step.
okay?
So the base of the teacher went to 42.5,
Right.
and every sale was increased 25.
And those folks from the 23 to our new 24, they got that step, which they wouldn't have got a step. And then some of our other scales were only went out to 22, so some of those folks got 2 steps.
2 steps.
Okay,
So,
that's great.
There was, and just in case you're wondering, I checked on that, there was approximately 172 positions that went up to 24, and about 73 positions that stepped up to that 23rd.
Okay.
How many went to 23?
73 went to step 23, and 172 went to step 24.
Got it. Okay.
Based off their years of service.
so that should be a good list of happy
Ms.
people.
Morgan, I got a question. And it may be too soon to ask this question, but like with our current year budget, it looks like we're tracking at 14 million to the plus. So if you minus your budget, I mean your surplus is about 4 million. Is that right? From
The budget,
from the budgeted number and then our income.
yes, we're running a positive of about 14 million right now in general fund. What you have to consider is, as I noted in the cover letter,
Yeah.
local revenue is already above 100% collection, so that's pretty much a done deal.
Okay.
We still have 5 payrolls to post, and we have larger items such as the annual SRO expense. The county only bills me once a year, the city bills me quarterly and they're running behind. So we will have additional large expenses to hit that. I do think we're gonna come out to the good this year and have a really good year again, because we still have COVID money that we're spending all the way up to 9/30 and 24.
Yeah, 'cause I was gonna say, if you minus the 14 million from your, what you budgeted of, what, 83, so you're running about 4 million to the good again.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be quite 4 million by the time we close everything, but, we can't even start closing things till after 6:30
Yeah.
and then pay all the expenses.
Okay.
But yeah, that number always this time of year looks really high,
Yeah.
but we do have 5 payrolls we process to pay out contracts and back post them
Yeah.
into this year. So we'll take that big hit. Any other questions?
Ms. Meany has a question.
Yeah, I do. Madam Chairwoman, I think this might be for Dr. Fall too, but this is the question I get, Dr. Fall, and I know you and I have discussed it, but just for our friends here and then those who may be joining us. So we were fortunate enough to put 4.6 million into the bank for audit. That's what our audit showed, right? And so with the good news that Ms. Morgan just shared, that we could be coming into the positive, right? Maybe at the,
I feel quite sure we'll be a positive. I don't guarantee it's 4.6.
right. So with those two pieces, why do we need a millage increase at all?
Because that money is not reoccurring, number one. Number two, we lose some of our capability of how many mills that we can do. And we're gonna get hit again next year with another increase. We're gonna get hit the next several years due to the governor, which I'm all for, wants to raise the minimum teacher pay to 50,000. So that's not reoccurring money. If you don't attach millage to it so that that's reoccurring every year, you may not have enough millage to cover next year and this year, if that makes sense. So that's why you don't use that money for reoccurring costs. And that's why instead we use it for like what we're gonna talk about later, the band room addition.
But we would, so we have, how much do we have in general fund reserves right now?
We have
Ms. Moore?
approximately
About 10.9?
About 10.9 that is uncommitted. And I have to maintain 8.33% of my $90+ million budget, so that amount that I have to maintain goes up.
So we have to maintain about 7.6 million in reserve.
Roughly 8 million.
So we have about 4 right now, right?
No,
7,
I take that off.
3.
before I gave you the 10.9.
Okay.
The 10 is what we have unencumbered. There's nothing going against it right now.
Uncommitted, right.
That's
So
after
is the
we make sure we
4.6
got our
in that
8% and everything
Or no?
else.
Yeah, the 4.6 is in that.
Is in with the 10.
Okay.
And you said you must maintain how much, Ms. Morgan?
I have to maintain 8.33% of my budget.
Okay.
Which that's taken out already, that into consideration.
Okay, so we have, okay.
We have about 19 total, if that's what you're trying to figure.
Yeah, I'm just trying to anticipate questions.
And keep in mind, this was really a unprecedented year with
Yeah.
what the state allowed us to raise millage. We've never been able to raise it as much as the State Department of Revenue and Fiscal Affairs gave us this year.
And they were gonna allow, is it 23, but we're doing
Maximum was 23.5, and y'all voted on 13.5.
8, it's about half that.
Any other questions for Ms. Morgan? Thank you so very much, Ms. Morgan. Job well done. Thank you for explaining that to us. Now we need a motion to approve the 2023-2024 general fund budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2023-24 general fund budget.
Motion, Mr. Cash.
A second.
Second, Ms. Shippey. Any discussion?
Now, is this just the budget, not the millage, right?
The millage is in there.
So we already, so there was no second on that one?
No.
It's part of the
It's
budget.
included in the numbers that you have, that you're voting on.
You do that during the first reading, that's
I mean,
why
I
we
just
have
think
to.
I just think that we're just, I don't know, we're showing a profit every year, but then we say we don't have any money and we gotta raise the millage. I just, that's a little funny.
We haven't showed a profit every year, we just been fortunate the last few years due to COVID money.
But I mean, that's still a profit.
These are reoccurring costs, that's why it is the way it is. The savings that we do each year varies from every year if we're lucky to save any, and it's not reoccurring. That's why you have to do millage and you have to do it while you have it on the table, because it changes every year.
Any other discussion, any other questions? Well, we've had a motion, we've had a second, so all in favor by a show of hands to approve the 2023-24 general fund budget. That is unanimous.
That's for when we get to the doji, but if you want to get that this
Next item on the agenda, general obligation bond resolution.
This is a resolution that was sent to me from Mike Gallagher and Bro Foreman, our attorneys, requesting the authorization of the issuance and the sale of our general obligation bonds for the fall and spring borrowing. These are normal borrowings, we do 2 a year. The fall borrowing funds your capital projects, and the spring borrowing makes payments on prior bonds. So it's the same, it's the same borrowings that we do every single year. They just went ahead and sent the resolution in.
This is nothing different.
Nothing, we do 2 borrowings every year. That's how we fund
Okay,
our capital
maybe I'm
projects.
confused. Why do we borrow when we have this money?
We borrow to make payments on money we've borrowed in the past, so it rolls, basically, to keep us funded. And we also borrow money to fund our capital projects, because our capital projects, you do not have the money for.
That's the
You
list
would
of
take-
2.2 that y'all approved.
Yeah,
Until tax time rolled around, that money's not coming in yet.
yeah.
And we do those
If you
projects
funded your
every
capital
summer.
projects every year out of fund balance, you would only go, 2 to 3 more years, and you would have 0 money to fund anything.
That's why, once again, when we are fortunate and have the extra money to put in the fund balance, that's why we're able to do some of these other projects that wouldn't get funded through the capital, because you wouldn't be able to afford to keep up with the buildings upkeep, plus do these kind of projects like we're gonna talk about in
Your
a few minutes.
one-to-one refresh on computers and everything that rolls around, if you use your general fund or your fund balance money, you would run out.
All that comes out of there.
So we borrow every year to fund that. I had to get used to that too.
I'm just thinking of my personal life. I mean, I'm gonna borrow it just as it sounds like to me.
Now, is that how like traditional school, like all of them work?
That's why the SCAGO program was put into place many years ago, from my understanding.
The only ones that usually don't do it, to answer your question, are those wealthier districts that have money, Greenville's. But even this year, Greenville had to raise millage because,
Yeah, they did.
and they haven't done it for 30 years. I mean, that's, because they have all that industry
Yeah.
that they get the
Yeah.
money from, you know.
Yeah.
So your richer ones like that, they don't always have to do that, but districts similar to ours, this is what you have to survive off of.
Yeah.
Because all the chillers and roofs and all those things that we're
Yeah.
constantly repairing and fixing, we'd never have that money.
I'm with you.
Any other questions or discussions?
Guys, let me say, in the earlier years, I asked these same questions a lot of you are asking right now. And one of the things that helped me understand it better was because like I said, tax time, we're not getting any money until taxes start paying. Okay, the work, these projects that we're trying to do during this summer would have to wait till next summer so we would get the money and then pay for it next summer if we didn't. The projects are getting done a year early, so to speak, and we're paying for them with this and then paying it off next month, next year. That's what's happening. That's how it was explained to me.
Basically, I have to accept the fact you will never be out of debt. The only way to keep it running.
School districts are always like that.
I agree on
I'm
that
debt
one.
free.
I'm almost there.
See, my thoughts were, okay, we don't do these projects this summer, wait till next summer when we get the tax money and then do it. That's my frame of mind.
And what do you do when that chiller goes out? You don't have that money there. That's why you have to do these
Well.
on a regular basis. And I don't know, maybe Billy knows the answer. I mean, this is something the district has done.
Since I've been here, we've done it. I know, and that's one of the reasons we do this resolution early, is so that we're able to get in with all the partnering schools at the same time, that everybody's money is accumulated together as one big loan. They get a lot better interest rate. We get a better interest rate.
Because if we didn't
It
do
saves
this,
a little there too.
right, if we didn't do this and we had, like a chiller went out and we had to go out and get a loan for some big expense like that, we would be, you know, just like you going to get a loan right now, we'd be on that higher rate. We wouldn't have the I don't wanna
Borrowing
call it a
power.
luxury, but the borrowing
Borrowing
power of
power.
all the other districts to get that low rate. That's why everybody does it this same way.
If that's the end of the discussion, I call for a motion to approve the general obligation bond resolution.
I'll make a motion that we approve the general obligation bond resolution.
Motion, Ms. Shackelford.
Second.
Second, Mr. Wilkins. All in favor? That is unanimous. Next item, Gaffney High School band room addition. Dr. Fall?
Well, Mr. Hughes is switching over to the images. You all have it in your packet, but I want to make sure we show it to everyone else. This project should have happened when the school was built, and there was some issues with building and money and different things, so it got scaled down to what they have now, which is probably one of the smallest 5A band rooms that I've ever seen. And like he spoke of earlier, it is very, very, very tight in there. If they grow by too many more kids, they will not be able to have any kind of practice or anything in that room. Then this project came back up again when they did the penny sales tax, and it was supposed to go through, and then it got cut again. So now that we have some money from the 4.6 that everybody keeps referencing, this is one of those ideal projects to get accomplished finally, to help that situation over there, the band room being too small. This first drawing here, you can see the circled areas where they were talking about the band room. If you flip a couple, Todd. Well, turn on this. I'm sorry. I got it. Thank you. This will give you a better idea of what it would look like. And the overall space won't change, but I do, since we have two band directors coming in, that I do want to give them an opportunity to make any kind of minor little tweaks. But this would be your basic floor plan of what it would look like. And we're looking at roughly, and we won't know for certain until it gets put out to bid, but we're looking at roughly around 1.6 million to do this addition.
I guess I've never heard that there was a tightness in that room. I do remember it was proposed years ago and then it was cut. I do remember that. I think there was some controversy, you may remember, Mr. Blackwell, with when they were doing the, what's it called, the training room or what, yeah, the
Yes,
weight room or whatever.
when the training room was built, there was actually supposed to be some of the space that's there was supposed to be given over to the band and all
Right.
that,
That was a-
reworked and some of this kind of
I
stuff.
remember it was a big controversy then, but I don't know, I'm struggling with this. I know, I'm just thinking, we've raised millage, we've talked about different projects that are needed. I don't know, I'm all about the band. The band class was one of my favorite ones to go and observe when I was administrator. Loved going there. I left there with a smile on my face every time I observed. But I don't know. I don't know if this is the timing, if it's right now or if it's gonna be later. I know it needs to be done, obviously. We had the parent to speak tonight, but I'm not sure. That's just my thoughts.
They right now cannot do much in the space that they have. You all were over there when
It's
we
the
had
hosting of
graduation, how
events.
tight it is in there.
More than it. Right now, I mean, the number of students I think that we have, they're able to crowd them in. I'm not saying
Right.
they don't have a lot of room, but especially when they host,
Can't host,
and
right?
the other bands come, they don't have room. The other bands don't have enough room for them to set up themselves.
And once again, this has been,
And I'm gonna tell you, I'll be honest with you, I'm for it. I'm for it because I think they need it. They need it bad, and we've had to cut them on a couple of occasions already. I'd hate to see them do it again. I personally think we need it.
and I can only speak since I've been here, this has been talked about since I got here, of the spacing issues and the crowdedness and all those things, and how it was cut initially, and then how it was cut from the penny and all that, so that's why now that we've been able to save a little bit, that's why this project is an opportunity for us to get it done and take care of them as they should have been years and years ago.
Ms. Shackelford?
Have we asked the band directors and the band parents and the band students if these plans suit their needs? I mean, have we brought them into the discussions to talk about it? The worst thing I wanna do is to do something to somebody and not with somebody.
Mr. Norris had gotten several inputs from parents and kids and different folks. He gave input, but like I said, since we have 2 new folks coming on,
Yeah.
I would like to give them a chance to give a little bit of input. The overall floor plan wouldn't change a little bit, but like maybe you don't have, this room could be one big room, or maybe this practice room might be a storage room for music or something, those kind of shifts. It wouldn't necessarily be, the footprint is gonna stay the same overall, size-wise and stuff. They just might change and alter a little bit what those rooms look like.
I mean, I don't disagree that this is a need. I think what I would like to see as a board member is a list of building program needs that are on your agenda, Dr. Fall, and for us to prioritize those so we can understand how best to use our fund balance. That's what I would like to. I just don't want to haphazardly move on something and it be built too small or not big. I mean, that's the worst thing in my mind that we could do. I really want to be sure that we do our due diligence on this project. If we do it, I want to do it right.
That list that you're talking about was spoken of,
I asked for it.
when we did the building facility study. This was one of the things on that list. This was talked about during that time that it came up.
I don't,
We
I'm not arguing
we
it's a
asked for a
need.
list for your top 10 priority items. And I asked for it, I'm sorry, not we. I asked for a list for your top 10 priority items of things you'd like to see done. And I still would like that list as well, just so we can kind of, see where we're going in the district. But I do think there's still a need for this band room. I do.
If I recall, you and Miss Shippey both were band members at
Right.
Gaffney High School, right? I know your heart's here.
Yeah.
And I know this is a need, I know this. What's the additional square footage? What would is that 4211, is that what it would be?
That's inside the fence. Outside the fence is what's that say, 57.4? Basically, if you know that area halfway decent, where's the double doors? Here's where we get,
Right.
for the graduation.
Right?
So where the wall ends there, all this would be the new
So
space.
that's the new one right there.
Yeah, this is
That's
all
it.
internal that's reconfigured. And that's why I said this part, you know, we could change a little bit from the input of the new folks. This is really the addition.
Because chorus is somewhere across the hall, correct? Okay.
I've been there whenever the kids were actually having to practice. I don't know if you've seen it or not. I mean, they're
It's been
lined
years.
out in the hallway. They're having to line down the hallway and practice. Stuff like that, but just to get enough room because of what they were doing. The area there in that corner, the new band room, storage room they call it, that's just converting what we have now to what they call in a storage room, is what it amounts to. That's the room we have now, that area.
Right, that whole, this whole side from here over is
Is
already
what it is.
there.
There, yeah.
It's just reconfiguring, putting some walls, moving some walls.
What's your timeline, Dr. Fall? How long do you think it would take to construct this?
Once we get it bid out and stuff, it's just gonna depend on the builder. I would like to see it, at least the big portion done, because there's not anything inside really. So I would like, hopefully before school gets started, but it's gonna depend on when they can get stuff in and all that. But no matter what, we'll work it out with the construction company that it doesn't interfere with construction. And we do that all the time with projects that we have to do, like the windows we did during the school year. We made sure they came in the evenings and weekends and stuff, so it didn't impact instruction. That's something we always do.
I was a band person, I'm all for band. And when I was in band, we had like 120 people in Blacksburg, and that was a lot. So, I would rather see that list of priorities. 1.6 million, that's a lot of money. Blacksburg band, when I was in it, we were in no bigger than this room here.
You had a room this big, you were doing good. Right, and you said you had a room this size, you were doing great. I think it's a need, and not because I was on the band.
It's a need.
You know, that was several years ago. I vote because of what our students, our children need, not because of what program I was in several years ago. So I still think there is a need for this for this building, whether now or next year, according to your list, but I still think there is a need.
Dr. Fall, question I've got is, are we gonna have to send this back out, I guess, to OSF or whatnot? Because I remember the first time we sent it out, they had came back with egress issues. And I know some stuff was done. I don't know if it's to this print here or not, but do we have to submit all that?
And Todd, you correct me if I'm wrong, but once we put it out to bid again, that builder gets selected, they have to resubmit all the plans to OSF. They'll have to redo everything from zero. Because if once it doesn't get built, then it goes to the wayside.
Who did this?
McMillan, Paston, Smith.
Yep.
That's why they still had the drawings, that's why we were able to get the drawings.
But we can submit this again, like I say, through McMillan Pastor Smith. They've already done the legwork.
Yeah, the drawings and everything are all
All
done.
done.
It's all there, it's done, it's just,
The only thing they would have to worry about would be if there were any code changes or anything.
right, if we did any kind of tweaks or if any of the codes have changed since then or anything like that, it should be a pretty
It should make it a
smooth,
speedy process.
right, it should be. You never can count your eggs with OSF, but it should be a smooth process.
I just want to say for me, I know oftentimes we reference different programs that the board members have been on, but for me, I'm speaking for myself, I don't vote based off of what's good for me. I vote off what's good for the needs of our children, what's presented to us by our superintendent, by the band directors. That's what we based off of, not by what's good for us as individuals. And when I have a superintendent here that's trying to push this district forward, and the only thing was, oh, well, we can't do this, when are we gonna do it? Everything you know, that you may present, you do, we do, it does warrant questions, but if we have it and we have a need for our children, I am not going to question every single thing. I will question, but I'm not gonna say, well, because you're on the band, is it good for this? No, it's for the need of our children.
At this
And
time.
they presented it to them, to us, so.
It was a need 20-plus years ago when it got cut from the building.
Yes,
The only thing I would ask is that we have done our due diligence, so
without a doubt.
that this plan is what we're gonna go with, and we've talked to the directors and the parents and the students and make sure that they've had plenty of input into a plan that we pass. It's unfortunate that we don't meet again until August, so I guess the question behind the question is, if we don't pass it tonight, there's not gonna be another opportunity until August, is what you're saying, Dr. Fall.
Till next year, I mean, it's gonna be, because once school gets up and running, you're pushing back even farther to getting it built, and then it's just gonna take longer. If we can get it approved tonight, we can start all the processes and hopefully get stuff ordered and get at least breaking ground before school even starts.
I have a question. So are we, tonight when we do vote, are we voting that we want it done, or are we voting on this actual floor plan?
That you want it done, I can bring back once again, because we just
Once
hired
the
the
new
two, I can bring
Band
back,
directors
but
go, correct.
this has been multiple inputs since the school building was first built. And then
Okay.
it was multiple inputs again when the penny sales tax happened. And then, like I said, when I revisited this program to try and bring it back to life, I gave it to Mr. Norris, who was the band director at the time, and he went and got input as well and had some, but now that he's leaving, I do want to give the new folks an opportunity. So that's
It's
why I
very
say,
important. We've done a
but
lot
the
of projects.
footprint itself is not gonna change.
Yeah.
The footprint is gonna stay the same. The only thing that may change, like I said, is that internal, that instead of it being a practice room, it might be a music sheet storage room, or that might be an instrument room, or, you know, that shift is really the only real shift.
Now, would that affect the cost, like, far as anything, like, just say, if they come back and say, hey, we wanna do this, we wanna do that, and then we've got a over $2 million project here, and then that's not what we're.
It should not change, and then once again, the 1.6, I don't know what it's gonna come in at, because we won't know that till we put it out. The architect, the
But should we
Macmillan,
know that
Paz, and
before we
Smith
vote?
is saying they're thinking 1.6. You don't ever, any budget that you put out is only a guesstimate. You don't know for certain until you put it out to bid.
So we would vote and say, we're saying roughly 1.6, but then when we get it, it's 2.4, but then we just go with it because that's what it is.
The same thing happens on your capital project list that you do. The list of all those items, we put on there that it might cost 10,000, sometimes it comes in 12,000. We put on there that it costs 10,000, sometimes it comes in 8,000. That's, you don't know until you put it out for bid. I can't put it out for bid till I know I have you guys' approval. That's the way it works.
So we're just approving tonight for him that we want to move forward with the project and for him to put it out to bid, not the amount and all that, not at this time,
Well,
correct?
no, you're approving roughly a 1.6 budget.
1.6, okay.
I don't know if it's gonna come in more or less than that until I put it out for bid.
But we'll try to stick as close to that
Oh,
as we
yeah.
possibly can.
Hopefully under, that's always the plan.
And
But,
then-
and that should be a pretty good number. Macmillan, Paz, and Smith that did the drawing and does building stuff on a daily basis gave us that number.
now, for-
And I think you got Sauceman input too, Todd? So, I mean, it should come in close to that number.
Now, other needs in the district. I mean, my biggest thing is what I'm hung up on is, I mean, I love the band, but my biggest thing is I try to look at things that affect every student. Every student in the district. So, I mean, granted, band is wonderful, but it's just one avenue. Is there other needs that would affect every student that would take priority?
There's a whole bunch. That's why we'll be presenting to you all about a referendum, because the buildings, we don't ever have enough
Something in
money.
this aspect, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
I mean, like
there
our library
are.
or something, you know, just
There,
something.
there are other things that we have like for instance, the 1.6 roughly that it would cost to do the new transportation office, moving the buses over, the 1.6 for the maintenance. In the buildings, most of the building stuff is gonna fall under the referendum because we have buildings that need totally replaced. And that's where that facility study that we had done, that's where it lists out all the different building needs.
Yeah, but that was before us. I mean,
No,
the
it was just recent. I mean, that's only maybe a year old now. We just had that one redone. And once again, the reason this is on top of the list, this is 20+ years old. This should have been 20+ years ago it was done. And it got cut out for various reasons, and it is what it is. Then once again, penny sales tax, it got cut out again. It is a need that has always come up every time the high school has any kind of input. This is one of the areas that always comes up as a need for them.
Questions or discussion?
Well, I'll tell you, like I said, I know I've been here 20 years, as he says, it's been a need. It's been a need on ours for 20 years, and I know I've been part of why we've had to cut it a couple of times. I mean, it's no different than in my house. If I need a washer dryer and I can't afford both, we're gonna buy a washer and we'll hang them out. I mean, we've had to do that here with the school district. It's all in, all the questions you guys, they're great questions, but I'm telling you, I've heard them. All the band directors we've had previous, they had input in this. They had the input in this. We have new band directors now. I can't say that they've had input, but I mean, they may want something different. But as Dr. Paul said, the only addition we got is that left-hand corner, that left-hand end right there. The rest is basically remodel. Let me say it that way. It's remodel. You build a little wall right there and make that little new work area, it says, or you leave the other wall out and make the whole thing a new work area. You know, those kind of things, I'm not saying it's not a cost, but that's a lot minor compared to building that in. When you figure the top. I think it's needed, and I'll make a motion right now that we give him approval to move forward with getting us quotes. This is not, we building it yet. We can still stop it anytime, guys. We can stop it if we see it's gotten out of hand and too much for us, or whatever the case may be. But I think we ought to, at least, if we got the funding now, we've got that extra funding that you brought up earlier, the 4.6 million, I think it was.
4.6.
Yeah, you're talking about using 1.6, that's still $3 million left, but, I mean, for some of these smaller projects we've had to put off. And I'm gonna tell you, I took some pretty good butt chewings over past putting them off. A neighbor of mine below me, feel sorry for him. A lot of folks didn't know exactly where I lived, and they TP'd his trees instead of mine. It happens, but like I say, I'm like you guys, I'll stand behind what I feel like's right for the kids.
Absolutely.
And I think this is needed.
So we got a motion from
We have
Ms.
the funding now, we can do it. I think we'll probably move forward.
We have a motion from Mr. Blackwell that gives Dr. Fall the authority to proceed with getting a quote for the Gaffney High School band room addition. Can we get a second?
Can I just interject for a second? Mr. Blackwell, would you, if we gotta wait till August, once again, it puts us,
Okay.
that 1.6, can you give me a window or something not to go above or be, because that should be a solid number. So if you're not comfortable with 1.6, it's not gonna be much less. I mean, we got that from McMillan, Pasden Smith.
We got it. I think I talked with a couple of the trustees and told them, we don't know, I already know, we don't know that's a firm number. And it could come more, we understand that.
Can we
Whatever
come
it
back in
comes,
2
then
weeks?
we have to look at them when it comes in. And decide then whether we move forward that, or if we feel like we've gotta build this addition right here and we don't make some of the improvements in the other parts.
And it will be the same as the baseball and softball that y'all approved. that I will bring back and let you know along the way where we're at with it, but I mean, the goal is to stay around the 1.6. I don't think it's gonna be much different, cause like I said, we had builders and architects give us input on it. But if I gotta bring back, it's gonna delay
Okay.
out to, that's what I'm
Well, I'm
saying.
telling you, I'm building a house for my son down there, cost is going up.
So if we
I'll
wait, it's
let you
gonna be
know
more.
that.
Mhm.
We keep waiting, it's gonna be
You know,
more.
Next month, two before costs more than it is this month, I promise you.
Okay, Mr. Blackwell, do you want to amend your motion?
Amend my motion.
That's what he's asking for you to do.
What are you asking?
My request is that you all approve this project to move forward into the building and put it out to bid to be built. At 1.6 is the budget, but like any budget, we won't know until it's put out.
But you're gonna get us back some numbers.
Yeah,
whatever
I will
goes out.
I will keep you all updated just like I
That's-
did the
that's what
baseball,
I'm saying. I'm giving you
softball.
approval to put it out for bid, is what I said. We'll see then if it comes in well above 1.6, we may have to make some adjustments.
Well, if it comes in at over 2, I'm gonna say, hey, guys, you may wanna think about this and re-vote on this, but if it's in that 1.6, what I'm saying with your motion is that we need to go ahead to move forward
Move forward,
if it's in that realm.
that's right. That's what I'm saying.
So we have a motion for Mr. Blackwell to move forward with the Gaffney High School band room addition. Can we get a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Cash. All in favor by the sign aye. I'm sorry, by raising of hands. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We have yes by Mr. Blackwell, Mr. Cash, Ms. Gallman, myself, Ms. Dawkins, Ms. Shackelford, and Ms. Shippey. That is a majority.
You have to do who's not in favor.
Those who are not, those who are not in favor, Mr. Wilkins is not in favor. That is a majority, so we will go ahead with the Gaffney High School band room addition. Next item on the agenda, the Gosher resolution.
You all should have gotten an email from Mr. Sherrar Alex, our attorney, in reference to this. This was a request by the purchasing party's legal, so I'm going to read the resolution that Mr. Sherrar sent to us, so if there's any questions, I'll answer them after that. Whereas the School Board of Trustees of Cherokee County School District, the board, declared that Gocher Elementary School to be unnecessary for educational and administrative purposes according to the district's facility plans. Whereas on February 13, 2023, the board authorized the sale of Gocher Elementary School to Charter School Advancement LLC for appropriate consideration, and whereas the board authorized its superintendent to execute the closing documents for the sale, whereas on May 31st, 2023, the district received the appropriate consideration for the sale in the amount of $710,000, and Charter Advancement LLC received the properly executed deed filed with the Register of Deeds in Cherokee County. Now therefore be it resolved that the School Board of Trustees ratifies the transfer of the deed for Gocher Elementary School to Charter School Advancement LLC, request approval from the State Board of Education to sell Gocher Elementary School. Be it resolved that assurance is hereby given that the proceeds from the sale of Gocher Elementary School shall go to the district's capital budget for subsequent use, adopted on June 12, 2023 by the School Board of Trustees of Cherokee County School District.
Question, Dr. Falk, did I hear you correctly that the 710 would go into the capital budget?
Yes, that's where it always goes.
It goes into general fund.
The general,
Sale of assets.
that's where we get any of the,
So that's a different line item.
no, it's the same that we get the 4.6 million from. Goes
So
in
the
the general
general
fund,
fund.
yeah.
Okay, not capital, okay, I want to be sure I understood that right. Okay, Ms. Chairman, I would like to move that the board adopt the resolution to ratify the sale of Gocher to Charter Advancement LLC.
Okay, we have a motion, Ms. Shackelford.
Second?
Second, Ms. Gallman. All in favor by the raise of hands. That is unanimous. Superintendent's report, Dr. Fall.
You all should have a list of the personnel recommendations on there. request that the board approve the recommendations.
Can we get a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the personnel recommendations as submitted by the superintendent.
Motion, Ms. Shackelford.
Second.
Second, Mr. Wilkins. All in favor? That is unanimous.
Next item there is the board meeting for next year. You all should have a copy of that in your packet. Pretty standard, second Monday. There was a couple adjustments due to spring break and things like that, but you have those dates well in advance. And if we're moving to announcements now, I just have one quick announcement, and then I'll turn it over to you, Madam Chair. I told you all that we have been audited more times than I've ever seen this past year. Well, we got another one, and this was, it's already complete. We got audited, the Office of Federal and State Accountability within the South Carolina Department of Education conducts desk audits and on-site verification visits for all districts and schools following a 5-year cycle. The OFSA recently monitored Cherokee County School District, including all the schools within its jurisdiction. The purpose of the review was to assess district's compliance with the defined program and all current statutes and regulations prescribed by the SBE and General Assembly for the 22-23 school year. I'm pleased to inform you that the district is currently meeting the required elements of the Consolidated State Monitoring Protocol, resulting in an all-clear rating with no instances of non-compliance.
Wonderful.
Great.
Once again, just outstanding job. And they also went on to give a nice little shout out to the district staff. It said, the OFSA enjoyed working with the district staff and appreciated their efficiency and cooperation throughout the process. So once again, another audit that we have successfully completed with not only good marks, but also great comments about our district staff that I always say we have the best personnel around. So kudos to all the folks that were involved in that. I just wanted to let y'all know that another success. What's that count now to, Scott?
I think we're up to
8. So 8 audits, which is unheard of for a district in 1 year. So I'm very proud of the folks that have been a part of all the audits. So thank you all.
and another one started today.
Hey,
Just love them. I get them at work.
there you
Just gotta
go.
love it.
So, anyways, proud of the work that they do. Thank you.
Absolutely. Mr. Blackwell, you have any closing comments?
Well, just echo Dr. Fall's comments to the staff, our kudos to them for good work. I mean, to go through 8 audits right there and all of them been coming back good, so that's great. Once again, I say, I think the band room is really necessary. I know it's hard to just, I guess you might say at the last minute decide some of these things. I would like to know sooner myself. But I mean, this is something that we've worked on for years. I've seen it several times, is why I felt comfortable with it. And that's the only reason I can say that. I think it is something that the school needs and the children need, because I've been over and seen it myself several times with the kids trying to practice in there. And I mean, kind of like if you got your kids at home and they all have bunk beds in the bedroom, you need a little room. So I just give you a little knowledge of that way. You know, sometimes there are too many of them in the same room. That's all I got.
Thank you so much. Mr. Wilkins?
I mean, I'm good. I'm just, hopefully all the teachers can have an enjoyable summer and relax a little bit, and that's about it. Have a good summer.
Thank you. Mr. Cash?
Yeah, same thing as Mr. Wilkins. I hope that the faculty, staff, students, I hope they all have a restful summer and can recharge, and because they won't be long. They always seem to be shorter and shorter each year.
Absolutely. Ms. Shippey?
I don't have anything.
Ms. Gallman?
Yeah, school will be beginning soon. I've heard that many times, how we've cut their summer a little bit short this year. They were all joking, but, yes, they are starting soon. But, let me just rephrase my comment to Ms. Shippey and to Ms. Dawkins. I did not mean that any kind of derogatory way with the band. I just know you were both very involved in the band, and I know your heart is with all students and all students, especially at the band. So I did not mean a negative comment by no means whatsoever.
Thank you, ma'am.
But yeah, all these little commendations again tonight. I always love seeing some of those old students that I previously knew when I was administrator at Blacksburg High get recognized, so that was awesome. But yes, have a great summer, and Dr. Fall, I hope you get some rest too.
Ms. Shackelford.
I feel like this budget, you know, we say it all the time that people are our most important asset, and I really feel like this budget was indicative of that message. I feel like we tried really, really hard to give everybody more than something,
Right.
but to give them, I guess it's important to us that even those folks who may feel like they're not seen all the time and don't get the accolades,
Right.
that they really understand how important that they are to us. And so I feel like this budget did that. So I'm proud of that, leaving tonight. Also, congratulations to all the honorees. And Miss Morgan, will this be your last meeting with us? So congratulations to you on your retirement. Thank you for your dedication and all the hours that you and your team have put into the many budgets and audits that it takes to make our district run. This last audit was superb, and I personally appreciate you and your dedication to our district.
Well, Ms. Morgan, I as well thank you for your service, your many years here in the district. You will be missed, but enjoy retirement. I do want to end with a quote. It says, if you want truly to understand something, try to change it. And I have learned that more and more being on the school board. And I pray that the changes that we did make this year, I pray they touched everyone, that we were able to touch everyone in a special way, especially our students. I hope that our programs that we're putting in place will build them, build their character, build their minds, and just push them forth to be more productive citizens. So again, change is not always easy. It's tough, and it's tough to make some of the decisions that we have to make. But that is why we are here, to make the tough decisions and to make the decisions that are best for all the children in our district. So prayerfully, we have done that this year, and I look forward to us coming back next year, picking up where we left off, making even more change. Have a good evening. We are adjourned.